2 p.m.
Nelson Royals has top brands like Justin and Ariat. From work to western wear, boots and saddlery, Nelson Royals has it all. Mention WSIC and get 15% off your purchase. Visit Nelson Royals on Highway 150 in Mooresville or shop online at nelsonroyals.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Well, good afternoon, Lake Norman, and welcome to Town Talk. We're coming to you live from WSIC, the Real Talk Studio. That's on the base of beautiful Lake Norman, streaming worldwide from Beijing, China, to Stanley, North Carolina, population 4,065 people. I'm Bill Russell, your host today, President of Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, the largest chamber of commerce in the Charlotte region. My guest today is Rhonda Caldwell. She's the owner of Lake Norman Olive and Vine. Christina Eagle, who is a Lake Norman musician from The Voice, and Rhonda, her husband, Ronnie Caldwell, longtime friend of mine. Bill, I mentioned Beijing, China. You reckon there's been any tariffs placed on WSIC from China? Well, I don't know if actually anybody from Beijing, China is actually hearing us today. But Rhonda, Stanley, I went up and looked up and I was trying to see what is the most significant thing about Stanley, and other than the home, birthplace of Rhonda Caldwell. But I was looking, and Ted Abernathy, who was a National League pitcher, he pitched with the Cubs and the Senators and the Braves, mostly a relief pitcher. He was from Stanley, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Are you a baseball fan?
Very much.
Oh, good.
Your sister might know about that.
Yep.
We'd have to tell Noah that. Our son, just finished playing college ball.
Well, I'm real excited. We got Christina Eagle with us, and she was on The Voice, and most people know The Voice, an NBC program, American singing competition, kind of like Dancing with the Stars and America's Got Talent. Ronnie, Dancing with the Stars. I did watch that religiously, especially when Marsha Brady, of course, that really wasn't her name, but
Right.
Maureen McCormick.
Right.
I grew up with Marsha, and Sarah Palin was on it, and then you also had Jennifer Grey, Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, but you got somebody right here from our own backyard.
We have somebody that was on a program, The Voice, and I was looking at that. The judges: Christine Aguilar, Blake Shelton, Alicia Keys, Reba. And the current panel, Adam Levine, John Legend, Michael Bublé. Michael Bublé, I've seen him in concert like 3 times. I mean, my gosh. But you did Fancy in front of Reba. I watched the video. Reba was bouncing up and down when you, and clapping and going up and down. And Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, was he your coach?
He was.
What was it like to have Snoop Dogg as a coach?
It was absolutely insane. Well, first of all, I didn't even think I was going to get a chair turn because I sang the whole entire song and he turned at the last second. And so I get to the very last second of the song before he turns and I'm thinking, well, it's over. And then as soon as I saw him turn, if you watch that video, I just start, I'm like screaming. I'm running all over the stage. Like some of it, they didn't even get all of that on camera. I turn around and look back at my parents. My dad's hands are in the air. And not only that, like he's the last person I thought would be my coach. Like we're so different. But he is honestly one of the most genuine people that you will ever meet. I remember when we got to lives, he actually prayed over me and Jeremy, who was actually also on my team, on Team Snoop. He prayed over us before we went up to sing at the live shows. And so he is just a great guy. And yeah, it was really a surreal experience.
That whole clip was so high energy watching you come out with Fancy. And of course, that's one of my, and Reba she's one of those people like Cher. You just say first name. That's all you got to say.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to say who it is. You know who Reba is.
Exactly.
But she was so excited. What did she say about your performance?
So first of all, I remember when they even told me I was singing that song, I was like, are y'all sure? This is a big deal. You want me to sing this right in front of her? And I remember just walking out. I came from the side of the stage and I started walking and I looked over at her and she was just cheesing at me. And when I got to the end, she was just like, wow. Like, and I remember saying like, that's all for you. Like I wanted it to be special for her. you go on these shows and you learn so much from these coaches and you get all this wisdom from them. But in that moment, I was thinking like, I want to touch her. I want this to be special for her. And I remember Snoop Dogg during rehearsal, he was saying to me, it's already special. It's already special. And she was just so happy whenever I got done singing it, and you could tell it touched her, and she was just cheesing all big. And so it was really cool. It was a cool moment.
I can't even picture Snoop Dogg being into country and Western. But I watched him because the clip was on him too, and focusing on him. And he was just bouncing around too.
He
I mean,
was.
Snoop Dogg getting into some country and Western.
Oh, yeah. And he actually just released a song with Ernest, the country singer. Actually, I think it was either today or yesterday. So he's getting out there in the country world. He likes it. So
well, another one you did was Shania Twain. Again, I like Shania. And so when you did that Feels Like a Woman song, I mean, that was another high energy song that you just really got into the song. And I've told you all day long, I can't get the doggone thing out of my Rhonda. It's playing over and over. I have an earworm. I guess that's what they call it. I just can't get it out.
That's the way it was when she did the jingle for the olive oil store. We were walking around the house for weeks singing "Do Yourself a Favor."
Hey, so, and I know you did Laney too. But
Yep.
Are most of your songs country and Western?
yeah, oh, yeah. And, I love the Lord, so I love leading worship and singing Christian music. So I really love to tie those two in together, country and Christian, because it's just who I am. So I don't really like to tie myself down to a genre because I just want to be me. And like whatever song I write, I want it to come from my heart, So, but yeah.
So how does one find himself on The Voice? I mean, how do you go from a girl from Catawba in Lake Norman to being on a national TV show?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, it still blows me away thinking about it. But when I was younger, I used to literally dream about being on The Voice. I would watch YouTube videos in my room of people on The Voice and thinking, man, I want that to be me one day. And so one day I was working. I was a receptionist at the time, and I had remembered that actually it was an ex-boyfriend that had sent me the link a few months before that, and I just thought about it one random day, and I went and I scrolled up, and it happened to be the day I looked for it were the day of auditions. So I said, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to do this, and I did one take of My Church, Maren Morris, and like 20 minutes later, congratulations, you made it to the next round, in an email that I got from them. And so I just kept going through the rounds, and then they called me 6 months later and said, you're coming to LA. And then we went from there.
Christina, when did you realize you had a talent? And when did you really start appreciating yourself as a musician or somebody that loved to sing?
Yeah, so I've seriously been singing since I could talk. My mom told me when I was 3, I was running up on stage at church, stealing the mic from the preacher and singing. And so since then, I've just been doing it. This is all I've ever wanted to do, and I'm doing it.
And you also sing in your church?
I do. Well, I sing at multiple churches, so not just one, but.
I tell you what, I watched your videos, and there's a whole slew of them. If you haven't had a chance to see Christina Eagle, you can go to YouTube, see some of the clips that she's done, and again, just fascinating and seeing the energy that you put into the productions.
Thank you.
So
I
cool.
appreciate that.
Rhonda, we're going to go to a break and hear from our sponsors. When we're going to get back, we're going to talk to Christina about some of the other things that she does. And we're also going to talk to you about the new venture you got going on in Davidson, so Denver. So stay with us here on Town Talk.
More Town Talk with Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts.
Okay, we're back, and this is the time, Ronnie, where we talk about Chamber of Commerce activities. We're actually on Facebook and X and Twitter, and you mentioned TikTok a little while ago. We've got all kind of podcasts. What kind of social media do you use to promote your new business?
Well, I'm not the social media guru.
Okay.
Ronnie is the social media guru.
I don't think so.
Well, hey, you had me on FaceTime last night.
I'm learning from Christina.
It's a learning project. Social media is so huge, and it's changing every day. So, you try to do a little bit of everything on every platform. So that's what we try to do.
I'm actually learning from Emily. But, yeah, it's, you got to learn from it. And you got to put different stuff out there and just let people know what you're doing. And that's pretty much a lot of it's trial and error, you know.
Christina, you use Facebook and TikTok?
Oh, yeah. I use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all of it. I'm always on social media. It's probably not a good thing, but you have to be, you know. Have to stay consistent with it, which is hard. It's so hard, but.
And you're teaching Ronnie a thing or two?
Trying.
She's trying to teach me a little bit.
But they're doing good. They've got a TikTok and they've got Instagram and Facebook, Lake Norman, Olive and Vine. And so, yeah.
Christine's given me a couple little hashtag little things that I've tried out, and they actually have worked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday we had a WINS meeting, which is the Women's Influence and Network and Sharing. You got to get over there sometime and do a program on the Olive and Vine. But and today we had a ribbon cutting at Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They opened up they opened up the facility about a year ago, but today was the official grand opening. They had a ribbon cutting at their new facility here in Cornelius. Really, really cool. And I got to drive the brand new Dodge Charger, which is all electric.
Wow.
Yeah, Justin and I got into an $85,000 vehicle. Really cool.
I remember when they opened that place. I remember when that place wasn't even built originally. I mean, it's amazing. Now they've built another one.
Yeah, you're going back to, yeah. Tonight we got a ribbon cutting at the Holbrook at Town Center, and tomorrow the Town's at Maxwell at 4 o'clock in Huntersville. Education Power Luncheon coming up. I'm going to talk about that more when we come back from a break. But Demi Kazepsis is going to be recognized as the outstanding charter school elementaries teacher and at our thing. So for those of you listening to us on Town Talk, we're going back live in about 10 seconds.
Town Talk continues now. Here's your host, Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
That's what I can't get. Now it's in my head.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to stay in my head. Welcome back to Town Talk. I got Rhonda Caldwell. She's the owner of Lake Norman Olive and Vine. Christina Eagle, who is with The Voice and lives over in Catawba. And Rhonda has got her husband, Ronnie, who is a producer and a longtime friend of mine. And Ronnie, it's good to have you here, too. Christina, you know, you kind of had a challenging upbringing. I mean, you had some tragedies early in your life. I think you lost your dad. Was it even before you were born?
2 weeks before I was born. Yep.
2 weeks before you were born. And then and he was in an automobile accident. And then your mother,
Yep.
Ironically, automobile accident too, raised by your grandparents?
Yes, I was.
And they became mom and dad.
Mom and dad. That's what they are.
And I think that was your mom's parents?
Yes.
Does any of the music that you're writing now and that you're singing, is it reflected in some of the things that you may have been challenged with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, you grow up and honestly, I was raised in a really good home. My parents love me and I know that. But as you grow up, I think it did kind of affect me that I lost my parents and you just you don't realize, I guess, that you have it. And so the more I grew, the more I started thinking about it and praying through that. And, you know, I think sometimes I did feel alone and just wonder, you know, why did this happen? Or like you just start to have questions. And then once you have those questions, you start writing it. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately what I do. Whenever I'm going through something or I'm thinking about something, I just want to write it down and inspire people and help people get through those tough times that they have.
Well, we talked about The Voice, and we have a little clip that I want to show for those of you on all of our social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You're going to see this clip in its entirety. It's a compilation of several of your appearances on The Voice. It's about 2 minutes, and for those of you who are listening on the radio, you'll get to hear the audio. So, Bill, can you tee that up for us?
My name is Christina Eagle. I'm 23 years old, and I'm from Catawba, North Carolina. Don't want chance, fancy, don't let me down. Come on. Here's your one chance, fancy, don't let me down.
Shania, Big Snoop Dogg coming at you live and direct. I have an artist of mine by the name of Christina Eagle, and she's covering your song. Man, I feel like a woman.
woman. So reckless and won't fit the jail. I do it like a daisy through old sidewalk cracks. Well, I'm kind of crazy, still running a wild horse. That old highway holds the cage. Gotta lay foot down when it's leaving. I just keep the wheels rolling, radio scrolling, till my sins are washed away. Hey, can I get a hallelujah? Come on! Can I get an amen? Feels like the Holy Ghost running through you. When I play the highway anthem, I find my soul revival. Sing some lovers. Yeah, I guess that's my turn. Hey! Yeah, I guess that's my turn. Yeah, I guess that's my turn.
She is so good. I love her.
All right, Christina, you got the producing staff in there. Got Reese and Bill in there just boogieing. I'm sitting here banging on the table after telling y'all don't be doing that. But talk about high energy. That was something. That was
Thank you.
something.
And I got Snoop Dogg. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
So, Rhonda, did you see her as it was going down on The Voice? Did you see those original clips?
Absolutely.
What were you thinking? Did you know Christina before?
Yes. She actually was in high school with her son, her youngest
Oh.
son. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how we maybe really met.
Mhm.
And then Ronnie had done some stuff with Christina early on. But yeah, I mean, we watched her through the whole 9 yards. It was awesome.
So, how long have you all known each other?
12 years.
12.
Yeah, 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you saw the whole thing going
Yes,
through.
Absolutely.
Okay, wow, that is fascinating. Ronnie is, I think I shared with you, he is the former owner of Innovative Pest Management. So he was the bug guy, and he took care of me, took care of the U Tarns House and Store here in town.
We did.
And your business was, I think you were the business of the year in Denver
We were, and we were runner up here at Lake Norman.
for the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce,
were.
and annually held the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce business after hours. And you brought together, I think, 3 separate chambers. You had the Lincoln County, you
We
had my
did.
chamber, Mooresville.
We used to host the biggest chamber event over at 6608 Campground Road, I think between all 3 chambers and DABA at the time. It was huge. We did that for, I don't know, 5 years or so. It was a big event. And, Bill, when I sold that, me and Rhonda decided to walk away from pest control. I kept my license. You never
Right,
know.
right.
Emmy Wynette, they said she kept her hair license because she never know when she had to go back to cut hair. But I got so involved in producing the fireworks in Denver that I didn't realize what was happening, but I wound up getting in the music business. And then I got recruited by the professional firefighters and paramedics in North Carolina to start doing their shows, their fundraiser concerts. So I didn't realize what was happening. And then I guess it's been 12 years later, I was doing that and the pest control at the same time. But when I sold the pest control, I pretty much just realized one day I'm in the music business and didn't realize it. And we've put on a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
And for the firefighters, and I do some for some other people occasionally when they ask, but that's it. And then this girl over here showed back up in my life. And so God has a plan, I guess, with that. But
And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that y'all are doing together. But Rhonda, I want to ask you, okay, you guys are running the pest control business. You sold that. And then you jumped into the oil and balsamic vinegar business. How did you transition into what you're doing with Lake Norman Olive and Vine?
Well, it's kind of a passion of mine because I love to cook.
you took a break first.
I took a long break first. I'm too young to sit and retire. So, Ronnie went and got his captain's license. So he was gone most weekends and during the week, during the summer. So I was like, I want to do something for me. So I love to cook, and that's my passion.
She's
all
good
my
at
life.
it too.
And I've gone to Johnson & Wales for 13 years, taking, classes. So I've learned a lot. And we like the healthier side of things. So, every year for Christmas, we always went to get olive oils and vinegars for all of our friends, families. And finally, Ronnie looked at me and says, why don't we just do it here in Denver? We've got the building.
Yeah, you're still in your old.
Yes.
You're still in your old building. Matter of
Correct.
fact, I went over there and you still got the spider out front.
Yeah.
Rhonda was telling me it's
Yep.
too doggone heavy and big to move.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like 11,000 pounds. Yeah.
So that's going to stay.
It's getting a new roof. Actually, it's getting a beautiful new roof on the building
Yeah.
here. So that's going to change the look of things. But, the spider was built by Dave Simpson for us, and he's gone now. And I don't know. I've had people call me and ask me about buying the spider, and I might would. It's a piece of our life.
For those that may be unfamiliar, share exactly where you're located, and then what are the hours that you operate?
We're in Denver at 6608 Campground Road, which is there near Stacy's. And we do have the spider out in the front yard, so you can't miss us. We're Tuesday through Saturday. Tuesday and Fridays through is 11 to 6, and Saturdays is 10 to 4. Yeah.
Christine, I went over there at Christmas time. They had Ronnie had been saying, you got to go over to see Rhonda's business. You got to come over here and see it. Went over there to see it and walked in, and there's this row of the olive oil and row of vinegars. How many different products do you have over there? I mean, how many vinegars and oils do you have?
I think right now we're right at 85 varieties of olive oils and vinegars, and they're from around the world. All the oils are from around the world, anywhere from Italy, Spain, Portugal, Chile, Greece, and all the vinegars are from Italy, Modena, Italy. So,
and one of the things you gave me a little card about some of the private events that you have, and you have a lot of different tastings. But you had some pairings, and you had desserts on it, and you had some other things on it, and I think there was actually no charge at that particular point on that particular coming over there because you were hoping some people would buy a product later. But what kind of special events are you having?
mostly is a lot of women like to get out and just, have a nice evening. So we do a lot of pairings with some of my, I guess, cooking skills, I should say. A lot of, bread dippings to appetizers to full course meals at the very end and desserts. And you can also put vinegar on desserts.
I saw the commercial for that.
Yes. So honestly, ice cream, pound cake, you name it.
She's figured out how to use navel orange olive oil. Now this stuff isn't like flavored, Bill. It's not artificial. It's real infused. She uses navel orange olive oil in a chocolate brownie. It will make your palate
that
just
thing
roll.
Is good.
And
I'm obsessed.
For Christina, I make an olive oil drizzle. It's kind of like a caramel.
Yeah.
And she just.
It is so good. Me and my mom are addicted.
Bill, my favorite. Now, I just got to tell you real quick. I love the garlic olive oil.
Oh, that's what I got.
With the potatoes.
Yeah, I got
but
that.
if you really want to go, let me just tell you this real quick. Roll your Brussels sprouts in that lemon stuff and cook it in there, that lemon olive oil, and then hit it with the dark aged pomegranate and let it turn into like a molasses.
Okay, Ronnie, you make me salivate over here. Okay. we're fixing to go to the break, and main reason we're going to go to the break is Bill's got to wipe his chin. Stay with us on Town Talk. We're going to be right back after these words for our sponsors.
There's more Town Talk with Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Okay, for those of social media, again, we're talking, and Ronnie, you are making me salivate over here. I'm thinking because I'm remembering when I came over there for Christmas, you put out bread, and you can go around to the various stations and you pour yourself a little cup of whatever you're looking, and you're exactly right. I like that. There was a garlic olive oil that you had,
correct,
and then there was a special vinegar that you paired it with me, and you said, "Taste this." And what was that? Do you remember?
Probably either Neapolitan or
it was
traditional.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Neapolitan.
Yep.
And that's what I got from my brother and his wife. Because my brother loves to cook. And so what do you give somebody that, you don't want to go get a knick-knack and they just put up on a shelf or something like that. I got him something I thought he would use. And that was fantastic. And you do a lot of tastings over there.
I do. You can taste every single day.
Mhm.
So I've got something that you can taste, whether it's a dessert. I always keep probably pound cake and bread there all day long. So anybody wants to come in and taste to see what they really would like to purchase or just to see what it's all about, please come by because that's all, it's about.
Bill, I'll tell you real quick story. So she used to sit in the evenings on her spare time and watch the Food Network. And she'd be sitting there with our little miniature Dotson, and me and my sons, our sons, we would benefit from all these ideas that she would come up with food. And so we sent her to Johnson Wells Culinary School. And so we did that every year at Christmas and at Valentine's and Mother's Day and birthday. We just kept doing it over and over every time we give her one of those gifts because she enjoyed it so much. But we were actually the beneficiaries of getting to eat really good food, really good stuff. But we didn't know we was creating them. She just said she's going to go do this. I said, if you're going to do it, go big or just don't do it. Mm-hmm. So she turned that whole place into a big emporium of olive oil and vinegars. It's a really good place to go into and just kind of just.
But I will tell you something. Every time I would go to the cooking classes and I would come home, my kids and Ronnie would be sitting at the table with forks and spoons waiting for me.
They were ready.
They were ready.
My girlfriend, you mentioned her, Susan Medlin. She, it was really funny. She went to cooking school in France, and my father, country boy that he was, said, "Where's Susan at?" I said, "She's in France at a cooking school." And he said, "Don't her parents own a barbecue restaurant?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, why is she going to France to learn how to cook?" I said, "Well, this is French cooking." He said, "Do you eat French cooking?" I said, "Well, I don't know, Daddy, but
you're going to.
And he said, "Well," he said, "I think she just sit there and watch her mama cook. She learned something from her mama."
Yeah.
But Chamber of Commerce activities, real quick. Reese, how much time we got? Enough. Okay. On this coming Friday, we're having a Focus Friday. It is a week earlier than normal. Typically, we do it on the third Friday. This is going to be on the second Friday, so this is the 11th. We have former Representative John Bradford. He was the District 98 representative for, I think, 4 terms in the North Carolina House, 2 terms in Cornelius Town Board. And he's going to be talking about some of the things that he chaired, when he was in North Carolina House, some of the legislation he's most proud of. He's not currently serving. He may go back to something sometime in the future. But we're having it this coming Friday, 8:30 to 9:30. And then immediately after, at 9:30, we're having a ribbon cutting ceremony for Lost Worlds Coffee. Lost Worlds also makes beer, but this is their coffee, and that's going to be Friday, April the 11th, again, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And that's here in Cornelius. And then we're having a blood drive. And we're having a blood drive with WSIC and Rose Pharmacy. This is going to be Wednesday, April 16th. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you consider donating blood, the gift of life, please come out. The actual blood drive is going to take place at the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, 19900 West Catawba Avenue. Again, Wednesday, April 16th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Do either one of you two give blood? Do you do that?
I have before.
Okay. Christina, giving blood?
I have before.
Okay. All right. Well, we're having that coming up with WSIC, and that's going to be April 16th. Justin and I always, we make a point to go give blood. 30 seconds, Reese? Something like that.
Every time I go to the doctor for a checkup, I have to give blood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whether I want to or not.
Right.
All right, we got about 9 seconds. We're going back live in here in just a second.
Swing is the largest since the 2010 flash crash. Some analysts, though, are concerned that even with the pause, Trump's tariff moves have already done lasting damage to corporate planning and global economic growth. And Jeffrey Roach of LPL Financial says despite all the euphoria, market volatility could remain elevated. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
It ain't easy being number one, but we make it look good.
WSIC.
Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell is on WSIC with Town Talk. Join in the conversation by calling 844-STUDIO-4. Now, back to the show.
I got a heart like a truck. It's been drugged through the mud. Runs on trains.
All right, we are back on Town Talk. We have Rhonda Caldwell. She's the owner of Lake Norman Olive and Vine. Christina Eagle, Lake Norman musician, who was on The Voice from Catawba. And Ronnie Caldwell, good to have you on here. Ronnie, he is the producer. So, Christina, you did a little jingle that you put together for Lake Norman Olive and Vine.
Oh, yeah.
And what we're going to do, once again, we're going to play that jingle. So you that are watching it at home, you'll be able to see the little commercial that they put together. And those of you who are listening on the radio, bear with us. You can hear the audio of this jingle that Christina Eagle's on. So, Reese, if you'll take care of that.
Do yourself a favor and drive on down to Denver. If you're looking for some flavor for what you're cooking for dinner, all kinds of oils and vinegars, you'll even want to use them for dessert. So drive on down to Denver if you're looking for some flavor. Just do yourself this favor. You'll be thanking me later.
Now, if you weren't drooling before, you really are now, aren't you? So, how did we come about with this particular project, this commercial? Whose brainchild was that, Ronnie?
Whose was it, Christina?
I mean, you called me.
Yeah, I did. I called Christina.
He did. I was actually in Nashville, and first of all, they have been helping me so much with my music and just really helping me get on track. And I remember I was sitting in a condo, and he called me. He's like, "We need a jingle for Rhonda's Oil and Vinegar business," and I was like, okay. And he said something to the term of favor and flavor. And I was like, all right, that gets me on track a little bit. And so we get off the phone, and it just came to me.
And you wrote the words?
Yeah. Like, it came to me just like that, like so quick.
Bill, within 45 minutes, she'd done sent it to me.
Yeah. And
That quick.
it was a voice memo in my phone. And he was like, we're going to go to the studio next week. Like, and we had it really fast.
We actually sent it off. We did go to a studio, did some work, tested around. It was really good that we did that, but we ended up sending it off to a guy that was mentored by Prince. Marshall Charloff has a Prince band. He goes all over the country, and he did all of it. And yep, pretty cool.
We got a big event coming up on Thursday, April 24th. You've actually had your place opened up for how long now? How long has Lake Norman Olive and Vine been open?
I'm not coming up on quite a year yet.
Okay.
Now, as far as the whole store, it'll be September was really when I took over the whole store. Nothing but olive oil and vinegars. Yes.
But on April 24th, we're going to have a business after hours. And again, we talked about how many people we used to have at the one that you did with Innovative.
It was over 300 back then.
I'm not sure we got 300 there, but maybe we'll shoot for that.
We can
But
aim for it.
we're going to have our official ribbon cutting, and we're going to have a business after hours, 5:30 to 7 on Thursday, April 24th.
Yeah, and Christina will be there singing.
Oh,
as
will you
well.
really?
I will.
Absolutely.
I think you need to ask the listeners to call in and see if they want her to be there.
Right?
You did not tell me that, I don't think.
It's a little surprise.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Talk about the health benefits of using olive oil and vinegar, because there's significant benefits to using those two products. Talk about that.
Absolutely. It helps lower cholesterol. It helps your skin, your digestion, your hair, your nails, just about anything internally. It helps.
Your weight.
Your weight. A lot of people come in that have like joint issues. You know, they're swelling or they just hurt. If they consistently take the olive oil, it has to have the high biophenols in it. Every day, every morning or at night, a shot of it, which could be like a tablespoon. It reduces the inflammation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it tastes really good.
It does.
It does. It's good stuff.
We talked about a pairings a little while ago, and the pairings that I had, and you said it was Neapolitan and the garlic olive oil. What are some of the other pairings that you typically put together in terms of olive oil and vinegar?
Oh, right now we're really loving the Persian lime oil with the coconut balsamic. It's dynamite to do some grilled shrimp in it. or even if you want to put it on a salad, anything like that. One of my favorites is the Portuguese lemon and the blueberry balsamic's my favorite for a salad. So there's just some good ones.
Hungry.
I know.
And you said some of these you actually put on desserts?
Yes. So most of any of your vinegars, like your black cherries, your cinnamon pear, your strawberry, any of those, we have lavender, which is amazing, that we use to showcase on ice cream, pound cake, anything like that.
When I came over at Christmas time, and I'm sure you still have this, you already had some baskets already put together. Now people can pick their own samples up, but you already have some things you've already put together.
Correct. So we try to keep it there all year around. Like we have Mother's Day's coming up, so we'll have beautiful baskets for Mother's Day. We're even doing a Father's Day basket. We have a lot of great stuff to put in a Father's Day gift. We have beautiful aprons. It says, handsome man can cook. You can. We've got some smoked olive wood for a lot of the the dads and stuff. They grill a lot, so we have things like that you can come and pick up. Other than just oils and vinegars, we do have other gifts in there.
And you talked about some of the tastings that you do, some of the special events that you do. Do you do classes to talk about? Do you do podcasts to talk about some of your products?
The events that we come in, we talk a lot about the benefits. I am in talks right now with a lady that we're going to do some cooking classes that I'm going to offer there, which will help, people go outside the box of using these other than just a salad. I hear that a lot when people come in, they'll say, well, what else do you put on? We're here for salads. And so I try to talk to people a little bit, like what they like, how they cook, just to kind of gear them. And once they start tasting, they're just blown away.
It's like that one lady, she came up to us. We had a little gathering with some friends back in the fall, and she came up to Rhonda. She said, I took some of that dark rosemary balsamic and I marinated my chicken in it. And I said, well, Rhonda, you need to get over here. This lady's talking about she marinated her chicken in rosemary balsamic. I said, what'd you do after that? She said, well, I actually let it become like a glaze and put over top of that. And then I sprinkled, what was it? Sprinkled on top of that? You don't remember?
I think it was black cherry she used.
It was black cherry. And then
she put the rosemary on top.
She sprinkled rosemary on top of it. That's what she did.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was like, I was like, this sounds really mouth-watering. So,
it's really interesting because
people come in there and they say, hey, let me show you what I did with this. I tried this.
They send me pictures. They love to come in and tell me what they've created. And so that really makes me happy.
When I came over there and you had the little samples of bread and we went from thing to thing, you also have very knowledgeable staff that can guide people. Talk about some of the staff people that you have.
They are, Aaron is one of our, I guess a nutritionist.
Aaron came from a nutritionist background. I mean, I lost 25 pounds. He just taught me, and I didn't start myself. I ate like a horse.
I can see it.
I ate like a horse, and I ate good stuff. And it's good, and he loves to talk with people about helping them with that kind of thing.
And then Tony, that's with me, she is very back end. She is amazing on helping do the social media. She helps pairing and with the customers coming in. And I got a new girl, Tiffany. She is doing. She does meal prepping stuff, for a lot of people. So,
and we got about 50 seconds. We're going to go to sponsors, and you brought me a little thing of Tuscan herb oil, garlic, olive oil, some other stuff. So thank you for bringing this in. Stay with us on Town Talk. We're coming right back, and we're going to again talk to Christina. So stay with us.
We'll be right back with more of Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell and Town Talk after this brief break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Christina, I mentioned that Ronnie was my bug guy. He was taking care of me, and I got to tell this funny story. I'm at home one night sitting in my recliner, and Ronnie calls me up, and he says, Bill, where are you exactly? I said, I'm at the house. He said, He said, well, I had my guys out there today. I said, oh, yeah, I know. I talked to him. He said, what are you doing right now? I said, oh, I'm in my recliner watching TV, Ronnie. Well, I need to let you know that we actually found the largest infestation of the brown recluse spider that we've ever seen. Actually, I sent this to Raleigh, and they've been telling me they never heard of this many brown recluse spiders. And I'm like, well, you took care of it, right? And he said, well, we sprayed. And I said, well, so you took care of it. He said, well, yeah. And I said, well, how dangerous is a brown recluse spider? And he said, well, you don't want them to bite you. It could lead to amputation.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, well, some people might decide that they want to leave. And I said, well, I've been living here for 20 years. They ain't bothering me.
Let's call the fire department and let them burn it down.
But, Ronnie, that was the fun. I'm still, but to this day, I don't know that I ever saw any.
Well, that is true. The reality of it is brown recluse spiders are not really from here. And if they do occur, it's mainly because they've been brought in or something and gotten into the attic from, an old suitcase or something from some other place. And were basically transported here. But yeah, you had them, and that's been a long time ago. And we took care of those. And I did send them off to my friends in Raleigh, and they were sent to NC State. And they actually came to the office and said, Ronnie, they were like, ophthalmologists say ooh and all over. Yeah. But, that was in the past, Bill, and now we're together again. Rhonda's in the olive oil business.
If they bit me, I don't get any superpowers.
I'm in the music business, and you got all your fingers, so we're good.
What is it, Peter Parker? They had all those superpowers?
Yeah.
So, anyway, so you took care of me. We got 30 seconds. Favorite country and western star? Do you have one?
Man, that's a hard question.
Oh, it really is.
I love Ella Langley, Lainey Wilson, all of them.
There you go. Favorite country western star?
For me, it depends on. It could be somebody is like Shania Twain, but I love Tammy Wynette too.
I like to listen to Cody Johnson.
10 seconds. Okay, we're going back live here in 10 seconds. Stay with
WSIC, local starts here.
Wildflowers and wild horses.
Who is that, Christina?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, though.
That is Christina Eagle. She was on The Voice, and we have her here today on Town Talk. We're back with Christina. We got Rhonda Caldwell and Ronnie Caldwell talking about your store, Lake Norman Olive and Vine. And while we were on break, I was talking about my infestation of spiders and surviving that. But Ronnie, thank you for taking care of me. And country and western, Shania, you love Shania?
Actually, my favorite country music artist of today is sitting in this room.
There you go.
That's
Christina
a good answer.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
That is a good, I was this morning when I told Justin you were going to be on my show, he said, do you do any country and western, Bill? And I said, well, after 3 or 4 Miller Lights, I could do a pretty good George Jones.
Yeah.
I could do the Grand Tour,
Yes,
or
sir.
he stopped loving her today. Takes about 3 or 4 beers though, but I'm right there. Sounds just like George.
There you go.
There you go. But I also Toby Keith. We just lost Toby. But if there was a favorite male country and western, Randy Travis. You like Randy Travis? There you go. I love Toby Keith.
So Bill, I just got to butt right in and tell you, I've been trying to influence her with some real influences that I felt like were more of a match for her, and that is like Aretha Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Just that real soul of the Swampers.
I heard some of that, yeah.
And oh yeah, and it's there. We're just trying to pull it out, and it's coming out. So she's gonna tell you about something that we did a couple of weeks ago that we're very proud of and excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you're doing. I understand that you're going to be dropping your new single. You got a new single coming out.
I am, and I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm cheesing so big right now because it kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, it was totally a God thing. One day Ronnie called me, and again, he has helped me so much. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, I would have been like, because I don't really know anything about the music industry other than I love to sing. Mm-hmm. And I know that this is what I want to do. And he knows the business side. Thank the Lord for him, because I would just be out in the middle of nowhere not knowing what I'm doing. But he had called me one night. What time was it?
12:30.
It was like 12:30 in the morning.
Day.
And I was up because I stay up late. And he had just had a meeting with the firefighters. And you go ahead and tell them what they said.
Well, basically the pffpnc.org, and I know a lot of people get phone calls every year for donations. And, that if you get a call from the professional firefighters, it really is the firefighters. They have their own team. It all is in-house. But that business model, they need something else. And so you give the money to them and help them and their cause. And we put on a show for people that want to go to the show. And I don't know, we just came up, we were sitting out there, and one of the media guys said, we really need a jingle. And the other guy said, no, we don't really need a jingle. We need a song and a video. So I called Chris, can you do that? And I said, well, I don't know. I could see, I don't know how long that would take. Well, it only took 5 minutes for her to do Rhonda's jingle. I said, well, that might take 5 months for you're asking. So I called her at 12:30, and I just pretty much said, what'd I say?
You said, I want you to sit down and write a song about the firefighters. You said, I don't want to put you in a box. I want you to just write what comes to your heart.
Yep. And the next day she sent me a song. I'm coming up the road from Stanley, and I was crying by myself, grown man driving down the road crying. I pulled in my wife's door. She said, something wrong? I said, I think she just wrote the one. And I believe she did write the one. And so from there, I picked up the phone, called my good friend who is with Shenandoah. And I said, I'm going to sing you something. And he's in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And if you've never seen that documentary, you should.
Mm-hmm.
A week and a half later, we're on the way to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And she's going to be singing with Shenandoah here in Savannah, Georgia next week.
Mm-hmm.
With not opening. She's going to be on the stage with them singing their song. But
yeah.
So she recorded a beautiful song for the firefighters, and it's going to be coming out. I actually shot a music video this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, Christina, I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, but I actually got to see it last night.
Oh, I'm glad.
So Ronnie said, okay, didn't you say you just got it within the last hour?
I said, this is another cut, another version of the video.
He said, I want to show you this, but he said, I have to show it on my computer because this is not released. Nobody's seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed it to me, and I was just blown away. And then you involved Cornelius Lindley Fire Department right here.
Right.
In Cornelius.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But who wrote that song? Did you write it?
I actually did. I wrote the song. He called me that night, and the next day I sat down at my piano, and I was just sitting there, and I was thinking about the firefighters. And like he said, I wrote what came to my heart, and what I thought about was a little girl and her dad. And I just started writing those lyrics. There's a little girl and her dad. And then all of a sudden, like, it just came to me. Like, I'm sitting there just singing a melody, and I start singing That's Somebody's Family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the heart of the song. It's like, these firefighters take risks every single day. Like, you never know, like, what kind of accident they're getting a call to go to, and whether they're running into a house that's on fire and they need to save somebody, or it's a car accident. Like, you don't know. And at the end of the day, that's somebody's wife, that's somebody's husband, and there's little kids at home waiting on their parents to get home. Like, you just don't know. And you never know what kind of risk they're taking. And so I'm just all about, I love love. I love family. And so I just always think about that, like, how would I feel, if I'm at home and my husband is out taking a risk? Like, I'm checking the time. Like, where is he? When's he going to call me? Like, so.
And the firefighters do a lot of other things, with these fundraiser shows. We've got one coming up on May the 4th at the Hickory Convention Center with a blues artist, Mr. Sip. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite for that. But the neat thing about it is they do Coach for Kids. They have all these other charities that they do with this. This music video that Christina's done, it's going to have a QR code on the tag end of it where you can help the firefighters if you want. But Bill, I just want you to hear this song, but we just can't play it yet. Just give me about 3 weeks.
I heard that one. Is it?
But you heard it. But just give us 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we're gonna release it in about 3 weeks. I want your audience to hear it, but
sure.
Give us about 3 weeks.
Well, we'll get you back in here. So Muscle Shells, when you told me that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Seeger and Skinner record at Muscle Shoals?
I think everybody did.
Oh my gosh, Aretha Franklin, Etta James, the Rolling Stones.
Yep, Rolling Stones.
Steven Tyler.
How did you feel recording in that studio?
I just felt like it was funny. The drummer came up to me and he was like, "This is gonna sound really dumb," but he said, "Just take in the smell." He said, "Just smell it." And I'm like, I know, like you just everything about it was just so like peaceful too. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, how did Aretha Franklin just stand where I'm standing? Like, it's just nuts.
It was, we'd been in there all day and we break for 2 hours and went and grabbed dinner and we came back and the engineer was still in there working and Mike says, "Ronnie, we got to put those wind chimes at the end of the song. We need to put that on there." He said, "Go in there in the closet, see if you can find some wind chimes." I went in there was a rack of keys. They're like car keys, house keys. There was wind chimes. I picked up just a shelf of all kinds of stuff to make noise with because they don't use all the digital. It's the real deal. So I went in there and grabbed them wind chimes. I thought, I wonder if Wilson Pickett grabbed these wind chimes or Percy Sledge or somebody like that. Because, everybody's recorded there. All of Shenandoah's hits came out of there.
Christina, before you head off to Tennessee or Vegas or wherever you're going to go, once you hit that national spotlight, you're still playing some local things around here. You said you're still active, play within churches, but you also do some local clubs around here. Do you have any upcoming gigs that you're working on?
Yeah. So, actually, I think we talked about Ben 110 and Cornelius. That's coming up in May. I need to check exactly what day that is, but anybody can follow me on social media, on my Facebook. Just search Christina Eagle. It's me and my brother. We actually are a duo together. And
what's he play?
He plays guitar and sings. Okay. And he was actually in Nashville for about 8 years, and he is a beast. He is so good. And we actually call ourselves the Feathered Roots because our last name is Eagle. And
But she's got a cool website too, and her dates are going to be put up there. It's a new website. There's several dates. We really need a sprinter, Bill. So we need to get one of these new car people to help her out with like a new Mercedes-Benz Sprinter.
Hey, I'd love that.
She's not looking for a tour bus yet, but a Sprinter would be nice.
But ChristinaEagleMusic.com.
And we can put WSIC on the side of that.
We could.
Well, I think they have a vehicle out back, but I don't know if that will work. Before I think we probably had a couple of minutes left. If somebody wanted to know more about Lake Norman, Olive, and Vine, where would they find that information?
Facebook. They can come by and see me at the office, 6608 Campground Road.
And you have a website.
I do have a website.
And that is?
LakeNormanOliveandVine.com.
LakeNormanOliveandVine.com. And then Christina Eagle.
ChristinaEagleMusic.com.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Just search Christina Eagle.
Bill, you're wonderful. I just got to tell you thank you.
Well, that's pretty. Okay, we got less than a minute. Mentor in your life.
Mentor in my life. Ooh. Well, obviously the first one is Jesus because I don't know what in the world I would do without him. It's interesting you say that. I feel like I've had a lot of mentors over my life. It's not just one. There's a lot of people I go to, my parents. Now I got this guy and this woman right here that helped me out a ton. So,
well, I appreciate all of you being on the show today. If it's Wednesday afternoon, we're talking about Our Towns on Town Talk at WSIC. We'll see you next week.
Wildflowers and
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville, W264C.